Good evening everyone, welcome to round 8, DTR Division 3. We're in Silverstone today for a sprint race. And you can see your grid on the left hand side. And I'm going to set up ready for qualifying. So just a reminder of how sprint races work just while we wait for the drivers to get out on track. There will be a qualifying session which is 18 minutes. And that will be to determine where they start in the sprint race. The sprint race will then commence, and there are points for the person in first all the way down to 8th, and it drops from 8 points, 7 points, 6 points, and so on. And where you finish in the sprint race then determines where you start the main race. So, going to be a bit of a longer session than normal. Bassett's the first car out on track. He's made a bit of a habit of it. And we'll see how people are getting on in the championship as we go through the breaks between sessions. But Bassett is the first car out. What we'll do is, as I do every week, we'll jump on board with the first driver out, which is going to be Bassett. We'll have a look at the lap, get you familiar with the circuit, and then we'll have a little look further down the field and see where everyone is at. So we'll let Bassett make his way round. As I said in the breaks, we'll have a look at the standings. I'll recap on what happened from the last race. And then we'll see what happens in the championship. And who's going to pick up the points this evening. As Bassett now is making his way down into Sector 3. Won't be long before he's back to the start-finish line and we can start talking through the lap. So let's jump on board with him. These are the last couple of corners now. He's about to put his foot down and come over the line, which starts here. So we're going to have a very fast right-hand turn. You can pretty much be flat out, especially in quali. Run it wide onto the apex. And then we'll come into the first part of the track where you start to get some sharp bends. You get a right hand into a left hand, sort of a long chicane. And then it's foot down into a left hand corner, which is fast. And then the first of the straights where the DRS zone will open. And then we've got another fast left hander. It's a heavy braking zone, but you probably just want to be a bit tighter than that. And then we've got a long right hander. Got to be so smooth on exit, you can lose the back end of the car around there. And we're onto the old pit straight, and we're coming up to the famous Max and Lewis corner, which again is a fast one. It's a little lift rather than a brake, and you can see he's still in 8th gear. Another little mini straight before you get to Maggots and Beckett's, which is probably, well, my favourite set of corners on the game. It's fast, you have to turn left, right, left. And then you make it onto the hangar straight, which is the next DRS zone. And then again, you've got another fast right-hand corner where, again, you can lose traction if you get too greedy on the throttle, but Bassett's navigated it well. And again, we're back here to the final chicane just before a long right-hand corner over the pit line, and he will set the first lap of the qualifying. It's a 28.3. I think we will get into the 27th at some point. Stuart puts a 29.7. I think we've definitely got people here capable of getting into the 27s. Maggot being one of them. So let's jump on board with him and see how he gets on. He's put in a purple first sector. He's just making his way around towards the old pit straight now. As we've got some more time starting to be set. Wardy with a 29.1. Guna goes fastest with a 28.2. Huss has put in a 29.5. Maggot goes purple again as he makes his way down the hangar straight and into the third and final sector. barring any mistakes here, I think we're going to see the first 27 of the day as he slows his car down for the final chicane. And this corner is probably the worst corner on the track for traction, but all the cars I've seen so far have navigated it well, and it's a 28.1, so I think Maggot will get there at some point. Let's Felix is invalidated. Alex is on a lap, I think. Yep, he's on his way down the hangar straight. This looks like a reasonable time, just looking at that sector 2 time. So let's see where he can put it. Uses all the track. Again, just nicely clips the apex. Some dodgy camera angles they give you on the game. But here we go, he's coming across the line now. It's 28.5, it's enough for 4th right now. Is Arthanshi on a lap? I think he is. He's coming round Maggots and Beckett's now. It's all about trying to keep your car glued to that right-hand apex, because it just opens up the corner and gets you set to go down the hangar straight. And there looks like there's another faster sector 2 in there, so we'll see if he's on. Didn't see what his sector 1 time was, so we'll see if it's enough for him. Sounded like there's a little lock up in there. Is it enough to damage his time? He puts him second, 28.2. So the drivers are slowly creeping back up to that line, and I think Rika's just started a lap, so I want to try and see the back of his car to see if his ERS is going down. He looks pretty low on ERS already, so I'm assuming he's already done a lap. Yeah, he's 2 seconds up on his time. I don't think he's set the time. Glitzos back in the pits. Alex has just done one. So let's join one of these boys on an out lap. We'll go with Nicky Lauda. He's fighting for the championship. And he's on his way back round to the start line. So we'll pick up with him as he crosses the start line. But we'll watch him complete sector 2 and 3. And then he'll get going for his lap. Here he goes to start his lap. Cuts just enough of turn 1 there. You have to cut quite a lot of it, and you have to be careful not to invalidate it, and he was pretty neat over it. Hasn't invalidated it. So I think he was as close to the limit there as you can get. And there is Felix, I think, getting out of the way. Might have even been Gunnar on his out lap. And again, so looks like Nicky Lauda's taken that curb perfectly, cut enough of it. Just runs the car out wide just to bring it back in to the inside, ready for the exit. Slingshot himself out onto the old pit straight. And again, this is just a little lift. Sometimes you drop it into 7th, and that is what Nicky Lauda decides to do. I think it just depends on how comfortable you are. I tend to drop it. Some people stick in 8th and carry on. And again, just need to stick a little bit tighter to that final chicane there through Maggots and Beckett's. You can gain a lot of time just by taking a little bit of that curb, but it is so hard to get the car to turn in enough to do it. But so I think there's a few temps in it for Nicky Lauda around that area, but it's been pretty solid otherwise. So let's see what he comes over the line. Not going to be enough for pole, I don't think. But it is a 28.5 and it puts him in 5th, so that's a good start. He'll want to improve on it. Who else have we got out? And we haven't seen much of Wardy the last couple of weeks, so let's jump on board with him, watch his quali lap, as he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, but should be far enough ahead for it not to cause him too much concern. And again, just washes out a little bit wide. You can really try and cut a little bit more of that corner, but Ferrari moves out of the way, which is good. And off Wardy goes down the old pit straight. Round he comes. Let's see what his tactic is. Yeah, he drops it to 7th, takes a nice chunk of the inside curve, which means it doesn't wash him too far wide, so nice and neat round there. Takes a nice wide line in, and can he get it slowed down onto this curve? He can, that's better. And then you can slingshot yourself out, and that's where you gain those few tenths. So Wardy has started off well. He looks like he could be breaking into the 128s here. As he moves into sector 2, and we have seen a 27. It's Bassett with a 27.7. That's 4 tenths ahead of anyone else. So I think Maggot's got it in the tank. He can definitely do it. I think Guna's got the ability. Nicky Lauda can have it in him. Alex is good at quali, but Wardy gets over the line. He's half a second quicker. 28.6 puts him into 7th. He'll be happy with that. And if he can, on his final run, just pick up a few more places, he'll be very happy. But Huss has been very quiet the last few weeks, but he's up here and it puts him up into 8th, the 28.6. So good to see him starting to find a bit of form again. Let's have a look at Stuart, who also had a really good start to the season, gone a little bit quiet since. Had a few unlucky races, and he's going to come over the line. It's a 28.3 and enough for 5th. Felix hasn't set a time yet. He's just coming over the line with a 28.0, puts him into 3rd. He's found a bit of pace these last few days. Just not pulling it off in the races, so let's see what he can do. We've got Man Like Donkey yet to set a time. He's in the Red Bull, so let's see how he does. We're not going to see whether he's improving because it seems to be his first timed lap as he makes his way now down onto the Hangar Straight. Again, just gets nice and neat into the apex as well on the exit there, and you've got to be so careful on the exit there. Try and shift it up so you don't get too much wheel spin. It comes around 29.2, puts him 13th. So Evan, the only other man not to set a time, he's on his way around to the line now. What's he going to put in? This looks all right. That's a 28.8, puts him in 12th. So Kalitsos currently at the back. I think he will be able to improve on that time. Robzu with a 29.3 is in 16th. But I think what we're going to do is just have a look and see if any of these top runners are on a lap, and Alex seems to be 3 tenths up. So, and that's just through sector 1. So let's see what he can go on to do. If he's 3 tenths up, that is going to put him in not quite second. It's now saying he's 3 tenths up. So not sure what the timing boards are doing to me, but making me look like a bit of an idiot. So we'll see what happens. He's invalidated anyway. So Athanshu, that's not a quick enough sector 2, I don't think. But we'll stick on board just in case he improves. And then what we'll do is we'll jump to Rika. He's a bit further down the field. And we'll see if he can improve. And is Athanshu just lining up to start a lap now? Or is he... Yeah, he's just lining up to start a lap. It's 28.2, so doesn't improve. I think he's 5th anyway. Rika. And that is very wide out of Maggots and Beckett, so that's not going to help him. But he's got his ERS light flashing. Wonder if he's doing 2 warm-up laps. But we're getting into the business end now, so we're going to see the front runners start to come out. Let's just see if let's watch Rika finish this lap, and then we'll jump on board with Maggots Outlet. But Rika does dive in the pits. Kalitsos, are you on a lap? He is. Let's have a watch and see if he can improve. Very up and down Kalitsos. I see him up there a few times, but there's other times where he just can't seem to make it connect, so we'll see what he can do today. And unless he can find a chunk of time, it's going to be a day where it doesn't connect. But he's got more in the tank, I'm sure. And he's taken that very neatly, but he's just invalidated it. Took too much curve in the end. Right, let's go to Maggot. Let's see if he can punch in a pole time. Here he goes through sector 1. And the car seems to be flowing very nicely. Sector 1's the first time we can measure how quick he actually is. And is he beating his time of a 28.1? Slightly down. Not quite a tenth. So it's a good start. He might have other places in this lap where he can make that time up. But to me, look, it's looked like a very, very comfortable lap so far. Just put all the car in the right places. Maga also decides to shift down. Let's see if he can catch this last curb. He does, but I think he could have caught a little bit more of the curb before. So we're looking for a 104. Yes, he's under that, so he's a 10th up. So he could be about to push Felix out of the top 3 if he can keep this up. And let's see if he's got anything to find in the final sector as we come up to the final chicane now. 2 minutes left of quali, so everyone will be out now on their final laps. You can see the out laps are going. And here comes Maga. Can he improve? Is he in the top 3? Let's see. He's in a 27th. Puts himself 3rd, just behind Guna. Half a 10th. So Guna looking pretty comfortable up there. Can Felix do something about it? We'll see. Arthansu not improving on his time, I don't think. Let's have a look. He does by a 10th, but not enough to dislodge Felix there. So who are the people to watch? Let's have a look at Bassett. So far the graphic is suggesting that he hasn't improved. Might not have to improve to take pole though. It's going to depend on Guna, I think. I mean, in terms of ability, TGL Stewart could nick it. Bassett has actually invalidated, so let's pick up Guna. See if he can challenge and... I mean, the timing sheet... I wonder if that was to do with the last lap, actually. Let's stick on board with him, see what happens. There's no way he's 4/10 up in one corner, so... He actually had a really bad first corner, which means he had a really good rest of the lap. His RPM is out. Where did he go? In the pit lane by the look of it. I wonder if he's just retired because you know he can't put in another lap. So it's going to be disappointing for Huss. I think we've got Felix in front of Guna here. Let's just have a look. Yeah, it is Felix, so could be helping his teammate out with a little toe down the hanger straight, but Guna is a reserve, so I don't know if there would be that type of team tactics. But if there is, then it's a good position in their cars. And Felix is gone. So maybe he was getting out of the way for his teammate. That's what he'll claim anyway. As Alex puts in a 27.6, that's a monster lap. What can Guna do? It's only enough for 3rd. He does improve. Couldn't quite dislodge Bassett. Let's have a look at Maggot then. Maggot slowing down. Relia, he's on his way round final part of the track, and that was Felix's last chance. And we saw him spin it out in the 3rd sector. So Relia is the man then who can try and dislodge some of this. Can he join his brother? Even knock his brother out of the top 3. Let's have a look. Gets a bit of that sausage curb on the way in there, but nice line. Just has to slow the car down a little bit to hit that apex. And I don't think he's going to improve with a 106 in sector 2. Anyone else on a lap is Rika Racing. He's just coming round to the line now. Can he get in the 28s? Not quite. Doesn't improve on his position, and Robsu's trying to get out of the way, and yeah, goes off-roading. And that is your... Well done, Alex. Chucked in a great time at the end, but this is going to be your lineup for the sprint race. Alex takes pole, Bassett in 2nd, Guna in 3rd. Nothing to really pull between those two. Maggot with a 27.8 in 4th, Relia in 5th with a 27.9, and that's the end of the 27 runners. We've got Felix in 6th, 28 flat. Arthansu couldn't break into the 27s after an early start. And then TJ Stewart 8th, Wardy 9th, and Nicky Lauder in 10th. Huss in 11th, Cav in 12th, Evan 13th, Rika 14th, Man Like Donkey in 15th, Robsu 16th, Kalitsos 17th in the actual grid order. So just waiting for these cars to get round, and then we'll get cracking with the sprint race. So we're going to see the cars go around on a formation lap. Sorry, I've got hiccups again. Can't get rid of them. But what's going to be interesting about this race is Alex seems to be really strong at qualifying. Often will make a mistake in the race, but he's definitely got ability, so we'll see if he can hang on to that first position. But I think there's going to be a lot of racing going on up front here. All the guys in behind him, really, especially in the top 10, have got the pace to be up there for sure. And in fact, let's have a look at what people are doing in terms of tyre choice. Evans gambled on the softs. I think the softs will really start to lose grip around lap 5, so he's going to need a safety car for that to work, really. I think he can get them to the end, but they'll be horribly slow by the end. But he's the only one that's gambled on it. It's not a bad choice if you think that there's going to be a safety car. Probably means you're going to have to come in and ditch them, though, at some point. We'll see. He might make it work. You never know. So Alex is going to lead them away from the line. Just to remind you, this is a sprint race, which is why it's only 9 laps. No pit stops are required. They can go round on the tyres that they start on. Safety cars can come out. And I think we're in for a really good sprint race here. I think we've got, like I say, Alex at the front. He's got some work to do to keep the guys behind him. Needs to be mistake-free. Bassett, Maggot, Guna, Reliot have all got the pace to challenge him. Even Arthansiu as well. We've just seen Bassett. Did he get punted off the track, or did he just lose it trying to warm his tyres up? I'm not sure, but his tyres are definitely going to be cold now. He will be able to start in second, so he's gone back to the grid. So just because you lose your position on formation lap doesn't mean you lose it in the race. And you can see the predicted pit stop strategy. There is no pit stop, but they are suggesting that softs is not the option, so Evan's got some hard work to do ahead of him. He's got to save his tyres, hope for a safety car. But in the early parts of the race, he's going to be racy, so we'll keep an eye on him. But for now, let's concentrate at the start of the grid. And let's go on board with Guna, because it seems to be giving me a bit of a better camera angle. The only thing I can't do is see the lights, but I should be able to hear them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights at the top of your screen. And out they go. So away go the drivers. Alex looks like he's bogged down, but the Ferrari, Maggot and Guna get off to a flyer, and they've taken first and second. So it's Maggot, Guna, Bassett, Alex, and everyone seems to be behaving themselves round into turn one. We're still on board with Guna. Let's look backwards, as people like to give it a bit of a lunge in here, but yeah, again, I can't see anything. Guna's comfortably behind Maggot there, and it gets a bit stationary, but there is a McLaren round, and it looks like it hindered a Haas. It's Arthanshu that's round. So Guna with a solid start off the line, along with Maggot. Bassett is in third, so he's still up there, and Alex is in fourth, so not the best getaway. As you can see, TGL Stewart running around the outside of Felix. Gets a little bit scruffy, but they're both good. They're still fighting. And TGL Stewart makes the move stick. So some good early action here. We've got Felix who's tucked in behind Stewart. Let's just stay with this battle for now because they're quite close. But you can see that Alex now is putting pressure on Bassett, and it looks like Alex is going to take him. That is a lovely move into there, because if you're not passed by the time you get to that corner, it can get a bit hairy, but he got it done. So Alex back up into third. He's clearly got the pace around this track. TGL Stewart now on the back of Bassett, and out the back of the slipstream is probably going to have the inside line and probably going to make it quite easy. As Bassett, I think, is just trying to switch back on him. It's not going to work, but is he going to try and take it down the inside? He's not. He tucks back in and lives to fight another day. So Maggot gets away well in first place. Guna takes second, and that was really off the line. Alex in third, who's recovered a position. TGL Stewart with massive gains up into fourth place. Bassett has lost a few into fifth, and Felix is about where he started. Nicky Lauda looks like he's moved up a couple of places, and Reliot dropped back slightly, so maybe not the best start off the line. Cav in ninth, Wardy in 10th. Remember, the points will only go up to 8th in this sprint race. Hush remains in 11th. And Alfansu finds himself back in 16th after a spin. Man Like Donkey is in the pit. So, let's have a look. TGL Stewart, probably the closest man on track, hunting down Alex. And Maggot is just trying to break that second gap to Guna. Alex has got a second and a half to find in Guna, so Guna will just want to keep on the back of him and keep Alex at bay. If you do get detached here, the DRS train is powerful, and it does just make it ever so hard to catch back up. So Man Like Donkey got all the work to do. Probably not going to catch this train unless it's a safety car. But Stewart, 3/10 back. Let's watch it as we go down the hanger straight. Alex gets a little bit wide. It's not going to have hindered him, I don't think. And Alex, I don't know whether it's just through defending that he's dropping back, or whether the front two have just really got the race pace on them and a bit more comfortable on these medium tyres. But Maggot is just stretching that lead. It's so close to a second, and it does actually tip over for the first time. But Guna's pulled it back in the corner. So I wonder if Maggot's just got a little bit less downforce, which is giving him nice straight line speed. And Guna's just pulling it back in the corners. Might be what's happening here. And we've got Bassett now, who's trying to get this position back from Stewart, who is now 3/10. So let's join on Bassett. We can watch these two from his car. And the racing so far has been clean. It's been pretty close. If you look all the way back down to 10th, well, even all the way down to 14th, there's less than a second. You could almost chuck a blanket over the whole field here. Just a bit of a gap between Alex and Guna. And again, I would say that Alex has got a little bit less downforce, which means he's a bit quicker in the straight lines, because Stewart seems to be a bit quicker in sector 2 when you get to the sort of windy section. And then you'll see that even just down that straight, Alex managed to pull a little bit out, and Stewart runs wide. That's probably going to be a warning. Get 3 warnings before you get a 3-second penalty, so he's got another couple in the bank, and we're already a third of the way through this sprint race. And Bassett just a little bit wide on the exit there, but he's got no pressure from Felix, who is actually keeping up with this pack. But Stewart is now ever closer. Let's jump on board with him, as we saw him take a move like this on Bassett earlier, and I think he's going to get the move done. But Alex is still fighting back around the outside. Good move from Alex to try and defend his position. Alex has still got the inside line, but this will turn into Stewart's inside line. He's got to be careful not to wash out a bit, and he pushes Alex off the track. I don't think it was anything more than a racing incident, but it's going to give Bassett a run now. So Alex drops 2 places. TGL is already out of BRS. He's going to be a sitting duck on the straight, and we've got plenty of cars behind waiting to try and take Stewart back, but he's going to be defenceless here. He's going to have no DRS. Bassett's going to have DRS. Alex is going to have DRS, and in fact I'm going to jump on with Alex to see if he can make a move from back here, but you can see Stewart needs to break that slipstream, and he does it by just shifting away, but Felix is now on the back of Alex, so no idea who to stay on board with here. It's all so close, but Stewart lives to fight another day. And Bassett might just be thinking, well, if I save my ERS now, then maybe you can do it on the last lap down the hanger straight and make sure that he cannot get back at you at that point. So there's a bit of tactics in this one, because what he also doesn't want is to sit there and let Alex breathe over the back of him and actually turn it into defence and lose the back of Stewart, really. So, you know, it is about getting it done, but you've also got to think of it tactically, and it's hard to get that right. But Felix is half a second back now. Alex is making a move on Bassett, not quite close enough this time. So good little race we've got going on for these extra championship points. But you can see the fighting has really allowed Gunnar to drift away, really. Gunnar's drifted away and he's keeping Maggot within a second and a half, but again, when you don't have DRS, it becomes a bit of a challenge around here to do anything, really. But Nicky Lauda is at 7th, he's got the penalty, so that could end up putting him out of the top 10, really. It's really it's a big penalty, because it means you start further back in the actual race. So he'll be a bit disappointed. He'll be hoping that the guys in front of him can pick up a bit of a penalty. Just while these guys make their way round, let's just have a little watch of Maggot. He's been leading the race since lap 1. Give him a bit of air time as he makes his way across to Baggots and Beckett's. And let's see how nicely he takes it. He just wants to be nice and smooth around here. Don't pick up any penalties and bring the car home. It's nice. He makes his way onto the hanger straight. And we'll just jump on board with Gunnar, who's making his way down the hanger straight. He's in second, been there really since probably 100 metres off the line. He flew off the line, but Bassett is getting ever closer, and there he's scrapping with Stewart. And well, in all honesty, the job's done before the corner, and that's what I mean by just banking up a bit of ERS. Stewart is clearly having to fight hard here, and you can see his light is still blinking. Got to manage it so well around here, and you can see he just takes a bit of curbing, unsettles the car. So Alex, again, when I say about mistakes today, they're not fundamental, but they're enough to drop him off the back, and it just allows Felix to put a little bit of pressure on him then. And has he got what it takes to find the right spots on the track to make an overtake on Alex? And Alex runs a bit wide, maybe to get a good exit, but Felix looks like he's going to take advantage of that, because he's got an even better exit. And here comes Felix. I think he's going to get this done before the corner. He's right on him. He's going to go with the outside line. It will become the inside line after the corner. Be so gentle on the brakes. Alex gets the inside line. It now becomes Felix's line, but you've got to be careful on exit here, because it's slippery. It's good racing from those two. But Alex just holds on to the position. Felix is going to get another go. But really, you want to be waiting to the hanger straight. Nothing silly from Felix. I mean, that's where Felix just got to be a little braver there and carry the momentum around that corner. I think he was worried about what Alex was going to do, but it's now detached him a little bit. So, got to be a bit braver there, Felix. But that's a really good exit out of there. And now, can he get a move on? He's not going to get it done this lap. But if Felix can really get it, just get a little bit braver, I think he can be up there definitely, as Stewart's closing in on Bassett. You can see the DRS is really helping, but I think whilst he's behind him, just for the next lap or two, just get that ERS back up, try and get to about 20-30% and launch an attack on the very last lap of the race. As Gunnar seems to be reeling Maggot in just a little bit, but I mean, it's not going to be enough to get him by the end of the race if he can't pull something out a lot quicker. But to be honest, I think he'll settle for second place. It means he'll start in second place off the grid. And if he gets a start like he did earlier, those two will fly off into the distance again. So just looking back down the field again, we've got the two Hasses in 8th and 9th. RPM's up into 10th, or Huss as he wants to be known. So I think Cav is the one that's dropped back slightly out of that group. But Alex, again, just putting some pressure on around the start of sector 2, and he spins, and there's the mistake from Alex. I said it was there, but he's 360'd it, and managed to get back to, he's going to filter out to about maybe 12th if he's lucky. No, Evan's not quite close enough. He's on those soft tyres and they must be singing at him by now. So Nicky Lauda's made his way up, but Felix will jump in because of the penalty, so Felix just needs to stay in touching distance. He's got pressure from Relliot behind him, and Relliot's got a brilliant exit. Felix is flashing. This could be easy for Relliot. He takes the inside line. Felix tries to squeeze him and then gives him room. And Relliot's just being careful, I think. But again, just be brave. You had the momentum on him, so get the job done. But again, you just got to be so careful that people don't jump into you. You don't want to lose these positions for later in the races. Wardy now seems to have had a problem. He has just coming into the left chicane. So 2 laps to go in the sprint and people are starting to make mistakes. And it's going to cost you positions in the start of the race. But Felix is keeping tabs with Nicky Lauda, so should get 5th place sewn up as long as Relliot doesn't have something to say about it. And then we've got Stewart that's half a second back. Let's see if he's managed to start grabbing a bit of hers. I think he's still using it, so he's making this job very difficult for himself and very light on the brakes around there. Whilst it helped him on entry of the corner, didn't help him on exit because he washed out wide. And you could just see that Huss is a second and a half back from Relliot now. So the DRS train is starting to drop back and Huss has just lost a couple of places. I think he's spun it into the last couple of corners and Stewart goes a little bit wide. Got to be careful he doesn't pick up a penalty because that could drop him a couple of places off the start. But outside of that, this seems to be, as Nicky Lauda picks up another penalty, that's going to drop him right back out of the top 10, I think. Yeah, he's on 6 seconds. So what's that, 1.4, he's got about 4.5. Yeah, it's going to take him out the top 10, I think. Maybe into 10th, but Alex is trying to recover now. He's up into 8th, just overtaking Rika. Relliot is 6/10 back from Felix, but doesn't look like there's going to be any moves. And we're on lap 9 and 9, so Maggot's on his way around to start the final lap. Guna's following him. He's kept about a 1.5 second distance pretty much the whole way. Bassett has dropped off, but that's because of this fight between him and Stewart, who seem to be pretty equal on pace. They just trade positions, and I think we'll stick with Stewart because if he's been sensible, he would have been banking some errs here and then starts to chase Bassett down. But you can see he's using it now. I mean, my tactic would have been there to save it, use the DRS to close in and bank a bit of DRS and attack it down the hanger straight. But there's the penalty for Stewart. That's what he had to be careful of. He took too much of the curb and that is going to cost him dearly. He's going to lose at least 2 places for that. So yeah, it's not what he wanted. Felix, so not really much point in watching Stewart now because even if he gets the overtake done, it's going to drop him back. So can Felix get past Nicky Lauda on track? And currently he's set to be up in 4th, and there's been some yellow flags. It's another McLaren, Arthansiu I think it is. So he gets going again, it's not enough, and there's not been a safety car, which is good to see. We won't get one on the last lap of the race. But Maggot now is coming up to the line and has dominated this sprint really from start to finish. Wardy finds his way up into the top 10. Well done Maggot for winning the sprint. Guna's going to come over in second. Those two have really dominated the race. Well done for Bassett for coming third. Had a battle with Stewart, who picked up the penalty, so that's going to drop him back. Nicky Lauda drops back. Relliot jumps them both. Felix jumps them both. So 4th Felix, 5th Relliot. TGL Stewart in 6th, and you can see Nicky Lauda's been absolutely punished for those penalties. So Alex gets to 7th, Rika in 8th, Nicky Lauda in 9th, and Evan makes his way up into 10th in on those soft tyres. So good work from him. Calvin 11th, Wardy 12th, Kalitsos 13th, Huss in 14th, Arthansiu 15th, Robsu 16th, Man Like Donkey in 17th. We'll watch Man Like Donkey come over the line and then we'll have a bit of a championship update and we'll get ready for the race. So it looked a bit gloomy in the sprint race, but it looks a lot brighter in the actual race. So unless things get a bit rough later on, can't imagine there's going to be any rain. But we are in the UK, you never know. So Maggot won the sprint race, and we'll start this race in first. Gunnar in second, Bassett behind him, and then of course TGL and Niki Lauda came over the line in fourth and fifth, but penalties pushed them down the field, which gave Felix Reliot the jump. Then TGL Stewart Alex, who unfortunately made the mistake again this race, just got to cut those out, and there's no reason why he can't be a title contender. Rika's found his way up to 8th, Niki Lauda 9th, Evan in 10th, and Rika really is the specialist of picking up on people's mistakes, and he will make a strategy work if safety cars keep coming out. He's not afraid to stay out on tyres and take track position, so definitely one to watch. This track though, if you're on the wrong tyres at the wrong time, it can punish you. It's easy to overtake here. Just there's a nice DRS train that happens, so if you're going to get detached from anyone, you better be a lot quicker to make up the difference. So we'll see early on if there's going to be a pack that run away with it. But Maggot so far has got the advantage. We saw Gunnar was very quick off the line last time as well. So it's all going to be about who can make the jump into the lead at the start. If Maggot gets away again, although he wasn't losing Gunnar, he clearly had the pace early on to get gone. So we'll see. But just going back to last week, Kazingle won the race. He's not here tonight. Marshmallow came second. He's not here tonight. Reliot came third for his first podium, I believe, in Division 3. Cav came in fourth. Niki Lauda fifth. Rika was sixth. Gunnar seventh. Sheba in 8th, who I haven't seen here tonight. Man Like Donkey in 9th, and then Kalitsos in 10th. So that was that was last week. Let's have a look at the standings, and when we get a natural break, I'll sort of go through the standings. But for now, we're joining up the grid. We'll jump on board with Gunnar because we've got a better look at the grid again. So here go the lights. 3, 4, 5, and away we go. It's gone quick. So Gunnar seems to get away, but Bassett's had a really good launch and he's going to take the lead. So I wonder if that second and third grid place just seemed to be lighting up. But we've looks like we've all got through safely so far. But Maggot is getting attacked by Bassett into turn 1. Not turn 1, turn 2, I think. Sorry. But Bassett can't quite make it done, but he's still there. He's still hanging in. They're side by side. Coming into the first straight, Maggot gets his elbows out, pushes him wide, but Bassett is still there. He's not going to make it work. Gunnar was having a little look at Bassett. He couldn't quite get close enough. And then you got Felix, who's managed to stick him fourth, and then Stewart behind him. But look at Reliot having a fight with TGL Stewart as well. So there's a lot of battles going on down here. I'm not going to be able to catch it all. But let's look backwards from Reliot. It's all happening. We've got a Mercedes of Rika there trying to get round Niki Lauda, and he actually gets past Stewart. And Stewart runs wide. Oh, he's glitching quite badly, but he's managed to hold on. But I hope TGL Stewart managed to sort himself out there. Internet looked like it was bouncing all over the place. So just a recap at the front of the field. Maggot gets away well. Bassett had the best launch. Just couldn't get Maggot, but he's got Gunnar off the line, who's managed to stick with it. Felix is managing to keep within touching distance of his teammate, and Reliot's right up there. Rika's found his way up to 6th. Niki Lauda is in 7th. Alex has dropped to 8th. TGL Stewart down to 9th. Had a bit of a glitch there. Don't know if that caused him to drop back or whether it was just a bit of elbows. And Wardy makes up the final places. And look at this around the final bend. We've got cars all over each other. They're 3 wide at one point. And they're going to come 2 or 3 wide round this first set of corners, but they seem to have sorted themselves out. So some good neat racing. Let's stick on with Hurst and see if he can make a run down here. But no, he just drops back a little bit. And I can't see anyone specifically gaining, so we'll stick with Hurst for now. So he makes his way, and just not quite enough on the brakes and has to correct the snap. And again, he's just washed it out wide. I wonder if his setup's just punish him a little bit. Robsu's all over the back of him, and he's getting a bit detached now. Can Robsu have an attack and get through? Let's have a look. And again, like, Huss just runs a bit wide. I don't know if he looks like he's on the hard tyres, but I don't know if his setup's helping him. Just really struggling getting the car turned in, and you can see again, like Robsu's car seems alive in comparison. Maybe it's the tyres, I don't know, but whatever it is, if he can't sort that out, he's going to be in trouble. And Robsu is coming up close to him now. Is he going to launch himself into it? No, he's going to wait. So let's have a look at Alex, who seems really close, and there's Rika that's run wide, and Alex is doing a switchback on Niki Lauda. That's a neat move from Alex, and he spun it. Oh no! And there's the mistake, but manages to spin the car out, but stay off the racing line, Alex, as cars come in. Well done for the recovery, but again, that's the mistake from Alex. In these races, I don't know whether he just needs a bit of work on those harder compound tyres. Seems to be absolutely fine on the softs. He gets them fired, and he gets himself up into the top places. TDL Stewart now is having an attack on Niki Lauda, and this will get him into 7th place. He's got the inside line. He's going to be on the outside, though, for the next set of corners. But Niki Lauda runs out wide. Might have got a warning for that. And I think there might have been a contact. And Niki Lauda's gone round, and he's right in the racing line. He's taken Robson. And Robson's out of the race because the wheels come off. Oh, and wow, Niki Lauda drives into the wall. That's not good sportsmanship from him, because that could force a safety car out. That's very silly from Niki Lauda. Expect better from him. And there's at least a virtual. I haven't seen the actual safety car come out. It's not down the grid, but let's wait for this. Let's get back on with Maggot and wait for the mess to be cleared. We should be able to get racing again. So Maggot needs to make sure that he sticks right on the edge of that delta, so he doesn't lose any of the time he built up. I don't know, I won't be able to tell if this... here we go, we're going again. So Maggot still has a 2-second lead, but Guna is all over the back of Bassett, so he's had a really good restart to this virtual safety car. He's going to be side by side. Bassett is going to be able to cover off the inside line there, so Guna will have to just be a bit patient and see if he can get him on exit. But again, it's low traction zone, so you've got to be careful out of there, and Bassett lives to fight for 2nd place another day. But that was a great start from Guna there. He was on it, and you can tell he's a champion because he knows how to take advantage of some of these things. But let's see if he can get back at Bassett, because he's closing in on him. And that's a reasonably neat line out of there. Again, could take a little bit more curb if he wanted to, but again, in race conditions, you might not want to risk those types of things. So Guna just shifts himself to the side. I don't think he was ready to make the move on this lap. So he's clever. He just ducks out the way of the slipstream, which just takes an extra mile an hour off. Alex is back up to 12th. He's got around Kalitsos. And that looks like it's just down into that final set of chicanes. Just off the back of the hangar straight, he's overtaken him. So Felix is trying to put a bit of pressure on his temporary teammate for the day. He's within 0.2 of Guna. Guna's within half a second, and Felix almost giving his teammate a bit of a tap there, but no harm done. It's all about the exit off of here, because we're about to enter a DRS zone. I think DRS is activated, and I think Felix might have just picked up a little cheeky warning for that, for running wide there. But you can see Reliot's just dropped a second back. He really needs to try and close that in if he can, because the minute you lose track of the cars in front is the minute that you find it really painful to try and catch, because the DRS train is just so powerful. So Reliot's going to need to reel that in as quickly as possible and maybe burst a bit of DRS to do it. Rika's on the back of him. He's back up to 6th place after a bit of a mistake. We saw Alex sort of go around the inside of him, but then spins. TDL Stewart has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so getting a bit too close to track limits. Kalitsos has done the same thing. We've got a yellow flag. It looks like it might be Kalitsos. Maybe he's run wide, tried to come back on and lost the car. But here comes Gunnar on Bassett. He's having a look. The front of his nose is in there, but he pulls out of it. It's going to give Felix a little look now. Is he going to be brave? He sends the dummy. But no good. And Relia is dropping back a little bit further. And as I say it, pulls in a bit of time. But it's got to get back within that second somehow. And Felix is really driving the skin off of his car here to try and keep up with these front through and pick up a podium. It's nice to see him actually becoming consistent when he's not my teammate anymore. Cheers for that, mate. But here he comes. He's putting Gunnar under pressure. Both of them, I think, will be running a bit of hers, but Gunnar has just got enough pace to keep Felix at bay there. So Felix has just got to keep his head. Got to be a bit braver than we saw him in the sprint race. Don't be afraid to make a move and make those moves stick. Alex looks like he's putting some pressure on Hurst. Let's join him to see if we can see an overtake as we're coming down to the famous Hamilton. Oh, are we going to see it? Here comes Alex side by side with Hurst. And again, Hurst, I think he's just struggling with his car because he can't get it turned in. So Alex makes that move nicely. Nothing really changed up here. We've still got the two Aston Martins together, and Felix is really starting to pile the pressure on, but Gunnar's piling the pressure on Bassett as well. He wants the outside line this time. I don't think he's quite going to do it. He's not, but he's run out a bit wide, and he's had to cut a bit of the corner. It's allowed Felix to come back, but not enough to overtake. So Gunnar is in a place here where he wants to attack, but he has to defend at the same time, and he's just got to stay mistake free. Otherwise Felix is just there to get it, and you can see Felix is nice and neat through turn one there. Takes just enough of the curb that was required, and it just needed a bit more on the brakes there. Just runs away from the apex. But you can't fault his driving so far today. It's been good, and we've got Cav who's round just out the back of Maggots and Beckett's. There's no one else down there with him, which is fortunate. He'll be able to get back on his way. So no need for a safety car. So about 19 laps to go. Let's have a look at people's strategies just while we're waiting for Felix to try and make his way to the back of Gunnar. So the majority of people are on mediums. We've got RPM who is on the hard tyres. You can see that Evan had to come in for some mediums. Cav has come in for some hards. And Stuart is also on hard. Stuart is a lover of the alternate strategy. And if he can stick around there and get the hard tyres the distance he needs, again, he will become quick later in the day. But Gunnar is ever closer to Bassett. He's actually going to be side by side with him down into this corner now. But again, can't get it done. I think Bassett is doing a good job of keeping that inside line caught up, so Gunnar can't really make an attack. And I think if Felix is doing what I think he is, which is just watching this from behind and saving up some errs, then he's going to be in a great position later for when they do try and make an overtake. He will be there to pounce. But you can see that Reliot now has pulled them back in, so that was really key for him. And hopefully he hasn't destroyed his battery trying to do it, which looking at his dash he hasn't. So good work from him. He's back within 8/10. Rika's trying to follow him. It's about a second difference. Will he get ERS? Let's have a look. He does get DRS. So he just about kept it as Wardy gets past Arthanshu, who has spun. So there's going to be a few people coming through. So let's keep watching this fight with the two Astons. This is the fight for second place and third place for Felix. But he's doing a good job of just sticking in behind. I think if Reliot can find that extra yard of pace, then he will be a danger, because he's doing the right thing in banking up some of that ERS. And if he gets close enough to these boys, and this is the closest I've seen Felix through here, and Gunnar's also pretty close to Bassett, so get this bit right and you could be onto a winner. That's a lovely exit from Felix, and you can see he's already on the back of Gunnar. What's Gunnar going to do? Because he's going to want to attack Bassett. This could end up being 3 wide, but Felix has really got nowhere to go, so he's now got to wait for Gunnar, who again runs wide. I wonder if he's getting warnings for that. He might be getting out of the throttle, so he doesn't, but That was a hard move really there for Felix, because he couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he was a bit boxed in, and he gets a little bit sideways but saves it. Oh, that was I bet his heart went then. But you can see that this fighting has just allowed Reliot to close in. He's now within half a second, and you can see he's saved his battery. So from what looked like a second back, like Reliot could end up just taking all three of these. So that'd be good to see. But look again, Felix has got a good launch here, better launch than Reliot did, and I think he's going to be up with him here. He's going to take the inside line, and he's got his nose in front. But Guna's going to get the inside line back into the next corner. Can Felix keep the momentum going around the outside? I don't think he can. So Guna's going to get away nicely. Now, has Felix got the momentum? He hasn't, I don't think. Got a tiny bit of overspeed, but Guna's done a really good job of defence there. And what they can't afford to do is let Bassett disappear here, as we've got some more yellow flags just in that first part of the track. But the flags are switched off, and we're all good. There's no safety car. So Felix looks a little bit further back this time. Guna looks close, but again, not going to be close enough to make an attack. Bassett will be turning in before Guna can make a launch up the inside. But Felix is the one that seems to be getting the best exit out of Maggotts and Beckett's, and I think that's Alex round again, just before the hanger straight. And again, Felix just getting a bit twitchy, as Rika's already in the pit, so he'll be going in for hards, and he's going to want to make them go to the end. He's going to be hoping for a safety car, and then when everyone dives in the pits, he will jump them. So that's what he'll be looking for. Often takes that strategy, as Alex picks up a 3-second penalty, a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. Must have hurt his wing. And Felix is the one that seems to be getting the better exits out of these slower speed corners. You can see he's just gaining on Guna already. And Guna pulls to the side. Oh, and I think he was letting him through, maybe. Maybe he was letting him through, because he seemed to slow down quite rapidly there. But Felix is through. I don't think he wants to fight him. I think he wants Bassett to stay in touch. So I think he's saying, go on, Felix. Go and have a dig. And I think, because Reliot and Guna are brothers, I think they will look to try and support each other. Both have managed to save up a good amount of ERS. Felix has saved up enough. You can see Bassett has had to use a bit more, because he's obviously defending these positions, but he seems to be using it well. He's not overusing it. And Reliot now 3/10 back from his brother Guna, and then you can see that Stewart is 1.5 seconds back from that. So the rest of the field are pretty spaced out. This is the battle to watch. And Guna's released Felix to see if he can have a little go at Bassett, and Bassett pulls into the pits. So he's in already. Felix carries on, Guna carries on, Reliot carries on. So feels a little bit early. Maybe he's covering off. I mean, it shouldn't be covering off Rika. Rika was a lot further back. But we'll see how this plays out, and we'll see if Bassett actually can make the overcut work. But I mean, the skies look a bit cloudy. Not enough rain, I don't think. But we'll have to see if these see if the decision to go in for these hard tyres was the right one or not. Guna's managed to pull out a second again on Reliot behind him, so now Bassett has sort of shifted out the way, sort of giving him a bit of breathing space. Reliot will want to try and keep within that second, but Guna has to keep up with Felix here, who's nearly broke the second barrier himself. So Maggott goes in the pit, so the leader is in. Felix is also in. Guna carries on. Reliot carries on. Stewart carries on. Wardy is trying to make a move on Stewart. Can't make it work. Stewart gets a little bit out of shape, but saves it, and off he goes. So the Guna brothers out in front, taking the lead of the race for now. We expect Maggot will come back out into the lead of the race once these two pit. Felix will be interesting because he was in second before he pitted, and Bassett. In fact, actually, yeah, let's see where Felix comes out in relation to Bassett. Bassett's just making his way down into the pit straight. I think Felix might just get out in front here. He's on his way up out of the pits now. We're about to see him joining the track there, so he has got the jump. So Bassett did go a lap early. But does that mean that... I mean, well, you've got to remember, Felix has now got to warm these tyres up, so he might be a bit of a sitting duck for Bassett. But so far, he's got it right. If Felix can now get these tyres warmed up, that is a very good move from him. Bassett is within a second. Felix doesn't want to go to drain all that ERS, but I know he's got a lot more racecraft than to just go burning it all. So hopefully he gets the tyres warmed up. Let's get back to Gunnar at the front because he's going to be on his way round to the pits now. So based on that, you would suggest that the overcut does not work. But if these tyres have dropped off a cliff a little bit, you don't want to leave it too long. And Gunnar does decide to go again. Reliot decides to go again as well. Wardy carries on and Stewart carries on. And Wardy's made it past you, actually. I missed that. But Bassett is right on the back of Felix now. And this is for P2 of the race in reality. But Gunnar and Reliot might have something to say about that. But here comes Bassett already. He's flying. But look, he's run out of ERS. He had a lot more than that before the pit, so I wonder if he's pushing hard on the outlap to try and beat Felix, but that could leave him vulnerable later in the race. If Felix has managed to store a little bit of that energy, which he's still got as much as he had when he pitted, he's not going to mind. He's not going to mind Bassett making that move. And we've got some more yellow flags, and it's a Red Bull. I'm assuming that's Man Like Donkey. It must be, because it's the only Red Bull left in. So Felix coming round, and well, as long as he keeps within a second of Bassett, he's going to be happy. If he keeps within a second of him, keeps using his DRS, he's got Rika behind him actually, who's managed to move his way up. Because remember, he pitted even earlier, so that's interesting. He's brought himself back in, but again, he just uses too much ERS at times. And we've got Reliot and Gunnar following each other round, and we're coming up to the pit lane. Reliot is gaining, but not close enough, and he's not going to want to take his brother out. Kalitsis picks up a 3-second time penalty. Gunnar does now pit. Reliot now pits. Is Wardy going to come in? Wardy is going to come in. Stewart is going to keep going. He's on the hards, remember, so of course he will keep going. So Gunnar on his way in. Bassett is the man to watch. Where's he going to come out? I think Maggot is going to jump them. Look how much further down the road he is. So Felix, is he going to make a move? So we'll watch this whilst we wait for Bassett to get round. Felix tries to chuck everything at him. Bassett is holding the inside line. It looks pretty neat so far. Bassett has just got his nose ahead, but Felix is going to be ahead. Yes, he is, into this final chicane. So where is Gunnar? Is he on his way out? He's just driving down the pit exit. I think that Felix is... Whoa, this is going to be close again. I think Gunnar's going to have done this. Maybe Felix is a bit further down the road than Bassett was when he was coming out. No, look, they're joining back. They're going to be neck and neck as they come out. It's Gunnar and Felix going round into turn 3. And Felix jumps it. Bassett is stuck in behind Gunnar, but they're side by side. I think Bassett's going to get through. He is. Bassett's through. Gunnar's had a bit of a mistake. Reliot's gone round, and Rika's then been hit. Oh, wow. All in the matter of minutes. And Reliot's trying to get off the track to stay out the way of the oncoming cars. And that's so unlucky. That was a really good part of the race there for those guys. And Reliot's going to be gutted. Absolutely gutted. But let's just concentrate on the front of this. So I think it was all caused by Gunnar, who got a little bit out of shape. Reliot had to sort of get out of it, and it ended up making him spin. And I think Rika might have just hit it from behind, and that was it really. Nothing more than a racing incident. It was just unfortunate really. We've got some yellow flags. Could be Alex. I think it is Alex. Just down on the old pit straight. TJ Stewart is now in the pits, and he's going to come out on medium tyres. So Maggot will take back over the lead of the race once Huss comes in. Huss is going to stay out a little bit longer. He might be able to stay out and wait for a safety car, which then puts him in a really good position. Maggot takes the fastest lap of the race. He comes through in to take second. TJ Stewart don't think is even in the box yet. So Felix, Bassett, Gunnar, Rika. Well, maybe not Rika, because he's Rika and Stewart. Sorry, Rika and Gunnar are 3 seconds back. So Gunnar does get past him. I think Rika's going to get past him. So Maggot then 10 seconds back from Huss. He should be closing in on him with fresher tyres. We've got more yellow flags. Can't see where that is. Sector 1 apparently, but seems to have cleared itself up. As Gunnar is dropping back again. I wonder if he's made a mistake. I think he has, because Rika is now ahead of him. So Stuart and Wardy. So struggling with those hard tyres, and it might have even been the same corner that we saw him do it on earlier. But Maggot controlling this race. Felix in second. Bassett in third. Those two have had a good scrap over the last few laps. Bassett with a flashing ERS light. And if Felix can jump a second, he will be feeling a lot more comfortable. But they will be happy knowing that Rika's now 4 seconds back and no ERS. Stuart has come in for his pit stop. He's going to be quicker. He's a second and a half back. Rika's got no DRS help, so you would expect this to close up in the next lap or two. Wardy is chasing Stuart, but on harder compound tyres. And then Gunnar on the hards as well is trying to get back on track. He was on for a second, third place finish, but has made a mistake on the hard tyres when they were cold, and well, it's just really hurt his chance of some big points today. We're 16 laps in, got about 10 laps left. Huss is holding out for this safety car, I think. He's Maggot's made a second into his lead already, so I think if Huss comes in, he's going to want it under the safety car, and he might just be able to get into sort of that third, fourth, maybe fifth place. So his strategy so far looks good as long as there's a safety car. If there's no safety car, well, he'll see himself probably in the points still, but just look back further back down it. So, and I think Gunnar really, other than Bassett, is the closest man on track to a car in front. Oh no, Athansiu. Just trying to have a look at Evan. Athansiu's had his fair share of trouble today as he tries to put some pressure on Evan. Get him right on his gearbox. And he's got a lot of overspeed here. I wonder if he's just using a bit of ERS to boost him down. They're going to be side by side. I think Athansiu's going to have the track position he is by the time they get to the corner. And they're through pretty safely. So good move for Athansiu. Gunnar's making some progress down the road to catch Wardy. Wardy's dropping back from TGL Stewart. TGL Stewart is already on the back of Rika. And here we go down the hanger straight. Rika's flashing. This should be a nice easy move for TGL, but he's loved that move into that corner so far today. Can't get it done yet, but he's going to have another dick at him into these last chicanes, but Rika has it covered. Stewart's going to want to be neat and tidy, but Rika's having to take it a bit easy. He's going to want to stretch these hard tyres out, but Stewart, look at the grip he's got. He's now going to be side by side into turn one. He decides to pull out of it. He doesn't want any contact. Just needs to be sensible, which he has been so far. Just hold it on. Is he going to sweep round the outside? No, he's going to switch back to the inside, which will become the outside, and he will be able to carry the momentum round the outside. They get a bit close, they touch, but TGL Stewart's fine so far. They're side by side, and I think Stewart will get the DRS, and that is just going to help him, especially as Rika has very little ERS. Whatever he has, I'm sure he'll be burning now to try and keep up, and Stewart gets the move done. That was important. He's got 5 seconds to go and chase Bassett, who's dropping back from Felix. And Felix could be on for a podium if he, barring any mistakes. He just needs to find that extra 10th and get Bassett out of that 1 second DRS zone. If he can do that, then surely there'll be nothing holding him back, as Reddit puts in the fastest lap on softs. Softs, I mean, he's trying to get 10 laps out of him. He didn't do it on the sprint race. I don't know why he's doing it in the race. And Felix has broken the second. And there is no DRS for Bassett. So that's huge for Felix. That's huge, and he's got a little bit of ERS in the bank. He's got more than Bassett anyway. So Felix now just needs to keep his head down, keep hitting the apexes, get off down the road, and pick up your podium. So good luck to him. He's got 8 laps left to do it. We can see Maggot is really closing in on Huss. Huss is desperate for this safety car, but for every lap it doesn't come out, it just brings the pack that little bit closer. Let's get rid of pit stops. Let's have a look at penalties. TGL Stewart was 6 seconds. So, yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, he's nearly 6 seconds ahead of Rika, so he might just be able to keep that 50 tyres in the working window. But just while we're waiting for some action to happen on track, We'll stick with Maggot, but we'll just do a little update of the table. So Nicky Lauda, who has DNF from this race, is currently leading the championship on 82 points. Bassett is more than likely going to overtake him tonight. He's second on 79 points. We've got Rika in third on 72 points. He's picking up a decent set of points today. Gunnar in fourth as a reserve on 48. Maggot in fifth on 46, who, if he picks up a good haul here, could put him back in the championship. Wardy, who's in sixth on 44. We've got Kazingle, our race winner from last week, not here tonight on 43. Marshmallow in eighth on 43. Not Rishi in ninth on 43. And then Alex in 10th on 34. He's had a bit of a mare today. And I think Huss has gone in the pits. He has. Whilst I was looking down, he's jumped in the pits. So let's see where he feeds back out. Let's see where he filters out. And unfortunately, he just couldn't get the safety car at the right time. And I think it's going to drop him back behind the Ferrari, probably into 11th place. As Wardy now goes through, Huss is on his way out. So he's going to be coming out behind Evan by the look of it. So good attempt on the strategy, just didn't quite work. As Gunnar now starts to try and make a bit of a recovery. Felix is in second place. And he has cleared Bassett by quite a distance now. So all being well for Felix, he could be on for a second place today. And my God, will I give him some stick. Couldn't do that all last season while I was with him. And he used to call himself the master and I was the apprentice. And the master finally picks up a podium, I think. So Gunnar's trying to put a bit of pressure on Wardy. This is really the only battle on track. So we'll stick on board with it. It's 3.5 tenths. Gunnar's going to be disappointed to find himself back in 7th place. 6th if he can get the overtake done. He's going to be disappointed to be back here. He had a really good start to the sprint race. He's had a really good race up until the point you put those hard tyres on. And just got a bit trigger happy and almost spun it really. And put his brother in the bin at the same time, who is now down in 13th. So Huss makes his way past Evan, who's trying to fight back. And Gunnar, with a good exit here, might just be able to attack Wardy, but nope, can't do it. Evan goes into the pit, not sure why. Seems a bit of a strange time to do it. Must have some damage. But this race now, for those people in the points, it's just about not making any more mistakes. Keeping your car in the points and walking on out of here with everything you can get. As you can see, Stuart, I reckon his tyres might just be falling off a cliff a little bit because Rika is coming back at him. And you can just see he was nearly 6 seconds away from Rika at one point, and that time is just dropping and dropping, which again is not good because he is now within touching distance of these two. And Athanshu is also starting to join this. So Stuart could be in a bit of trouble and may well find himself out of the points if he's not careful. But I think he will get at least 2 points, I think. And here comes Gunnar now with a pretty neat exit here. And he's going to get an attack on Wardy. He's not even using the RS and he's just got a ton of overspeed. So can he get him in round into these first couple of corners? I think he's just trying to take it a little bit more cautiously, but he needs to get on with this really because Athanshu behind him is going to start joining this battle, and if Gunnar doesn't start getting a bit more ballsy about it, he's going to have him for company, and again he's going to be caught between having to attack and defend. As Gunnar tries to break the slipstream, Athanshu wasn't interested anyway. And it's been nice and neat from Gunnar. He's very good at picking up the apexes. And here he goes, good exit again. But again, Wardy just manages to get some good traction. There's rain. I think there's a little bit of rain coming. Unless that's my eyes. There is rain falling. Well, well, well. If you wanted something to spice this race up, here it is. As Rico's really pulling in Stewart now. He's only got a 2-second buffer. Rico doesn't even have to overtake him on track. But there is definitely rain falling. If you watch closely, and you can see it again there. I did say it was a bit cloudy. I did say it was the UK. And our fan stew is now within a second. And who's going to blink first? Can they make it another 4 laps without having to go onto the intermediate tyre? Now, this is a horrible situation for Maggot, because if he's the first person to react, you assume that everyone else behind him goes, nah, do you know what, I'll risk it. If he doesn't pit, people behind him might go, well, let's have a go. What's there to lose? Let's see if we can pick up the win. But I mean, as you can see, man like Donkey, I think that is again has struggled down into that final bend. But the guys behind him are also not going to want to take any risks and lose their podium. So, I mean, you could see someone like a Wardy take the risk, and if it starts to get heavy enough, he might just be onto a winner. But it's going to have to start coming down a little bit quicker, because we've only got 3 laps to go once Maggot completes this lap, and it's only really spitting at the minute. But what it is doing is like Felix seems to be tiptoeing his way around a bit, because Bassett is starting to find his way back in. And I'll tell you what, Stewart's not even too far behind this group now. So, do you know what? Stewart hasn't been coming backwards all this time. I've been lying to you. Stewart's been moving forwards. And he's now within a second, getting nearly within a second of Bassett. So, Felix could become under pressure from Stewart at some point. So, Felix's defence might actually be Stewart behind attacking Bassett. And Stewart is not currently fazed by the weather. Whereas Felix seems to be a little bit nervous about it. He's got 3 laps to get this second place sewn up, and I do hope he can do it. But it's all going to be about his bottle. Has he got the minerals? I have no idea, but we're about to find out. It's going to be an interesting last couple of laps, and Stewart is really now starting to put some pressure on Bassett. Half a second back. And Bassett must be looking in his mirrors going, where has he come from? Because Stewart hasn't really been in the race. But the benefit for those two is that Stewart has got a 6-second penalty. So, in reality, if I was Bassett, if I was Felix, don't worry, mate. Just let him through. And again, probably picked up a warning for that. Could even become 9 seconds at some point. Don't fight it too hard. Don't give up the place, but don't fight it too hard, because you'd be surprised if he can pull out 6 seconds in 2 laps. And you can see Bassett not really too interested in fighting that too hard. He knows he's got Felix up the road, who he's also got to get round, and he probably won't mind him fighting with Felix, to be honest. And the rain is not really getting any heavier. I'm not sure about the track temperature and whether that's just having a bit of an impact on it, but Felix just got to keep his head. He's going to have Stewart up behind him at some point. But he's just got to keep his head and know that he doesn't have to fight him too hard. Like, Bassett is, what, 8/10 back from him. So he's going to have to do that 5 times over. And it's just not going to happen, in my opinion. And he's really starting to draw Felix in. And Bassett's still about 2 seconds back from Bassett, so we're within a second now of Felix. I think Maggot is about to go over the line, which will make it 2 laps to go. Felix shouldn't be under pressure on this lap, but Stewart's going to be in and around him very shortly, and if he fights too hard, might find Bassett there as well. So What he doesn't want to do is get caught up and bring Bassett back into this. But we'll keep watching as Athanshu now makes a move on Guna, round into off the back of the hanger straight, so he's up into 7th. Whoa, Stewart takes a lot of curb there, very risky, especially with the track looking a bit slippery. I don't think we're going to see anyone pit now, but it's getting darker. The rain isn't too heavy. Someone did go in for inters, but they've been lapped, and I think it was Reliot. No, it wasn't Reliot, it was Alex. It's just not going to pay off for him. He's been lapped, he can't unlap himself now, so no good really. So Felix is only half a second up the road, Bassett's about a second back, so Felix doesn't want to fight this too hard. I think Stewart might just start to struggle with these medium tyres now as well, so just the worst thing for Felix to do would be to try and defend too hard and have a mistake. Just got to keep his cool. Maybe even bank a bit of ERS just in case Bassett decides to join the attack and Stewart picks up another penalty. So that is slam dunk now. They're definitely not going to lose 9 seconds on him, so don't bother fighting it, lads. But it will make this last couple of laps a little bit interesting and see if we can see some moves. Who's that car in front? It's not Maggot. No, he's 8 seconds behind, so it's a lapped car. So we'll stay on board with Stewart. We'll see if we can put some pressure on Felix. As long as Felix decides not to melt, let's hope the Haas gets out of the way so it doesn't get in the way of, as you can see, Stewart's getting so aggressive around some of these corners. You've got to be so careful. Don't throw away what you've got. You're about 7 seconds away from Rika. Oh, he's going to drop back into about 9th here, I think. And he's cut a lot of that corner as well. So don't go getting a 12-second penalty. Just let Felix drag you around the track and try and pull you away from these other guys as much as possible. The Haas does get out of the way. So well done from the Haas. I think it might have been Reliot. And again, just runs a bit wide. I think it's not enough to get a warning. And the rain has just held off enough. Let's get on board with Maggot. We'll keep an eye on that gap with Stewart and Felix, but Maggot deserves a lot of attention on this final lap. He's got off to a flyer in the sprint, got himself on pole for the race, takes the race by the scruff of the neck, and there's some yellow flags. Don't be Felix. It's not Felix. It's Alex, I think. As Stewart picks up another 3-second penalty, he's just killing himself. He's going to be out of the points at this rate. So it's massive. No one else has really picked up points other than people outside of the points. So as he does get quite a lot closer, I hope he doesn't make the move on Felix. He doesn't need to. It's not going to gain him anything. And Felix absolutely deserves this podium. So let's hope he can get it home. Let's hope Stewart doesn't do anything silly in these last few corners. Maggot is now coming round the line to win the race, and he's been absolutely solid from start to finish. Well done, Maggot. Felix coming round in second. Absolutely deserves this podium and his first one of the year. Well done, Felix. Stewart will come through in third. Bassett will take third, and a lot of people will come through to overtake Stewart. And Wardy's caused a bit of a pile up here, and Rika's on the line. I think Rika just kept the place, but it's a mess behind. So I think Wardy, then Rika, then Athanshu get over. Guna comes over in 7th. We'll be disappointed with that. Stewart finally finishes in 8th. Huss in 9th. Man Like Donkey will come round to take this final championship point, as long as he doesn't make a fundamental mistake. The rain didn't cause too much drama in the race, but Man Like Donkey will come round to take 10th. Evan will be 11th. Kalitsos in 12th. Camp DNFs, I think, in the last lap of the race. And then we've already got Reliot and Alex who have finished. We saw Alex take the punt to go on to the Inters, but another dreadful race from Alex. He's going to be very disappointed. He's got to work on this. Got to work on his racecraft, because he's got the pace. And whoa, where is Kalitsos going? Whoa, that's going to happen if you get on the wet grass, my friend. Come on, boy, get going. Well done. And I assume it's dreadful to run on and cold, hard tyres, but Kalitsos is going to come over the line, finish it in 12th. Well done for finishing. And what a race. Maggot dominated it from start to finish. Felix had a little fight in the middle to really work for his second place. Guna should have been up there. He's going to be disappointed with finishing back in 7th, I think it was, in the end. But Maggot has to be the driver of the day for me. He's absolutely dominated it from start to finish. We've known for a long time that he has the pace, just maybe not so much the consistency, but today comes out on top and he will pick up the top step of the podium. So Felix in second, Bassett in third. Good racing from all three of those drivers. Even Reliot was up there at one point for an attempt at the podium. But Gunnar actually finished fourth in the end, so a good recovery. Wardy in fifth, Rika in sixth, Arthansu seventh, TJ Stewart in eighth after 12 seconds worth of penalties. Reliot ninth. Alex actually comes home in 10th. No, I'm talking about the sprint result. I do this every time there's a sprint. I'm such an idiot. So Gunnar didn't come fourth, did he? No, he didn't. So Maggot first, Felix second, Bassett third, Wardy in fourth, Rika fifth, Arthansu in sixth, Gunnar seventh, TJ Stewart eighth, Huss in ninth, Malak Doki 10th. Evan finishes in 11th, Kalitsos 12th, Cav DNFs in the last lap, comes 13th, Reliot 14th, Alex 15th, and then Nicky Lauda and Rob Su, the only two not to finish. So that is your race. Thank you for joining us, and until next week, see you soon.